We're going on a road trip in the Appalachian Mountains on US 11. Come on, let's go. Alright everyone, for our first major highway of 2024, we are doing US Highway 11. US 11 travels all the way up from just east of New Orleans all the way up to the Canada border at the New York and Canada border. And also one of 9 US highways to split in NW or NNS. And today we're going to be talking about US 11 northbound and 11E. Next time we do US 11, we're going to be doing US 11W with that video. Also, US 11 goes through some beautiful scenery, so let's get started with US 11. If you've been enjoying my highways content or any of my other content, be sure to hit that like button and smash that subscribe button so you're notified of all my future highways videos. And guess what? I'm now open to extra requests. All of the future highways that I'm going to be doing are listed down in the description below. So if you wanted any extra requests for the future highways, be sure to look down in the description and put your request down in the comment section below, and I'll make sure to shout you out. Let's get started with the highway. As you can see here, US 11 begins all the way down here in Louisiana, just east of New Orleans. Travels through a little bit of Louisiana, through the states of Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, where it splits off into E and W, the purple being 11W, but we're going to be covering the blue. And then the state of Virginia, West Virginia, a little bit of Maryland, the state of Pennsylvania, and all the way up through New York, up until we hit the Canada border. So that we're going to be talking about northbound US 11. So we begin here at a junction with US 11 and US 90, and US 11 is going to be continuing north of here, and it also takes you to Interstate 10. And our first major intersection on US 11 is Interstate 10, which is signed west for New Orleans and east for Slidell. Why? It should be Biloxi or Gulfport, not Slidell. Here, crossing over Lake Pontchartrain into mainland Louisiana. And our first major intersection here is US 190 and Slidell, and we also get to Interstate 12 for US 11. Interstate 12, and Interstate 12 gets the abysmal control cities of Hammond and Bay St. Louis. Eastbound Interstate 12 should be for, again, Gulfport or Biloxi, while West 12 gets Baton Rouge. You don't need it for Hammond. Now we're meeting Interstate 59, and 59 actually gets good control cities of Hattiesburg and New Orleans. Hattiesburg is the 5th largest city in Mississippi, so that's why it's signed. And New Orleans is famous for New Orleans, and everyone knows New Orleans, so those are good control cities for Interstate 59. Here we are crossing into the state of Mississippi on Interstate 59. And shortly after, our journey comes to an end with Interstate 59, and we're splitting off at Exit 1, where we just get Nicholson and Nassau. Here are meeting Interstate 59 once again in Hattiesburg. Here in Hattiesburg, we're actually meeting US Highway 49 at this Cloverleaf interchange. Here is downtown Hattiesburg. Looks like a decent downtown. Just north of downtown Hattiesburg, we're meeting Mississippi 42, and Mississippi 42 takes you to Interstate 59. And let's see what US 11 is signed for on Mississippi 42. We get Hattiesburg and Laurel. Alright, so those are basically the same control cities for Interstate 59, but these two towns actually fit here on US 11 better instead of Interstate 59. Here I mean Interstate 59 once again, and we're actually skipping all the way up to the Meridian area, and we're going to be joining Interstate 20 and 59, along with US Highway 80. Here we're splitting off from Interstate 20 and 59. And shortly after that, we're entering into the state of Alabama, where I have called home for 8 years of my life. Here is US 80 splitting off from US 11. And our first mileage sign of the video, here in Alabama, we get York 5 miles away and Livingston 14. Those are not far away places. Here in the Livingston area, and we now get another mileage sign, and this time we get Tuscaloosa on the bottom line, which is 58 miles away, which is a good job. Something signing farther than 14 miles away. Here we're meeting US Highway 43 on the way to Tuscaloosa, and 43 and 11 are going to be current with each other as we head towards Tuscaloosa. Now we get an awesome mileage sign of Tuscaloosa on the top line, 33 miles away, and a mention of Birmingham, which is 91. Here we're meeting Interstate 20 and 59, but this is not the time where we join them. Here in the Tuscaloosa area, we're meeting Interstate 359, and US 11 is going to be joining Interstate 359. And shortly after that, we cross over Interstate 20 and 59, and US 11 is going to be taking a right off of Alabama Highway 69 here to head towards US 82. Here we're meeting US 82 still in the Tuscaloosa area. And this is north of Tuscaloosa. Now we're going to be joining Interstate 20 and 59. I wonder which way 20 and 59 east goes. Here, splitting off from Interstate 20 and 59, which is signed correctly for Birmingham, while US 11 just gets Academy Drive. Here we're meeting US 78 in the Birmingham area. And now we're meeting Interstate 65, which is signed for Huntsville and Montgomery, which is absolutely good, because Huntsville is actually now the second largest city in Alabama. Here's US 78 splitting off from US 11 in downtown Birmingham. And now we have no direct access to US Highway 280 in the Birmingham area. Here we're meeting the Interstate 20, which is signed for Tuscaloosa and Atlanta, which is good. And here I'm meeting Interstate 59, and we're going to be paralleling Interstate 59 for the rest of 59's journey. Here I'm meeting Interstate 459, and on 459 itself, we just get 11 for Trustville. And our next mileage sign, we don't get Trustville, we get Italia 26 miles away and Fort Payne 62. Here in the Fort Payne area, we're meeting US 278 and US 431. And here's US 278 and 431 splitting off from US Highway 11. Shortly after that, we're now entering into the state of Georgia, so let's see what Georgia has to offer. Right away, we get a mention of Chattanooga and Trenton, which is absolutely good. Georgia 136 gets Lafayette. In Georgia, we're passing by beautiful scenery here. And this road actually takes you to Interstate 24 because while we were paralleling Interstate 59 ended at 24. And now we're going to be paralleling 24 up until Chattanooga. So this here is the Tennessee and Georgia state line, but Tennessee doesn't have a welcome to Tennessee sign. So all we just get is this US 11 North shield and the changing of the road color. Here's Interstate 24, as you can see from the highway. Here in the Chattanooga area, we're now joining US 41, US 64, and US 72. It looks like Tennessee here is neglecting US 64 and 72. Why, Tennessee? Why are you neglecting the two highways that I've lived close to my entire life? Ugh. And here's US 11 splitting off from US 64. The reason I skipped the 41, 72, 64 concurrency is because I already covered it in my US 72 and US 64 videos. So if you'd like to check that out, here. And once we split off from US 64, we have another mileage sign. Athens is 27 miles away, and Knoxville is a good 81 miles away, so that's very good on Tennessee. Way to Knoxville, we actually passed through Philadelphia, Tennessee. Huh? Why is every state wanting to be Pennsylvania? Here, in a random town, now meeting US 321 and 3. And now we're meeting US Highway 70, and 70 and 11 are going to be concurrent with each other as we head through the city of Knoxville. Here we're meeting Interstate 140 in the Knoxville area. Honestly, I did not know that Knoxville had an Interstate 140. The only 140 I knew of was the Wilmington one. But I guess you learn stuff new every day. Here I mean US 129 in the Knoxville area. And in the Knoxville area, we're actually passing right by the University of Tennessee football stadium, so that's cool. Here's a nice view of the Tennessee River along with a train, so if you like trains, here's a good picture for you. I wonder what happened to US 70. But here's US 70 and US 11 turning off from each other. Again, Tennessee is neglecting East-West highways. Why? Here's the beginning of the 11E and 11W split, and we're going to be following 11E. Next we're going to be following 11W. Here we're meeting Interstate 40, which gets the correct control cities of Knoxville and Asheville, because we're now far east of Knoxville from here. And here's US 70 and 25W splitting off from US 11E. Once US 25W and US 70 split off from 11E, you get this one-line mileage sign just for Jefferson City, which is 15 miles away. That should be Johnson City and Bristol, not just Jefferson City. Fine. Here in the Jefferson City area, we're meeting US 25E, and 11E is going to be joining 25E for a short time. Here's US 11E splitting off from US 25E for North Fort Greenville and Morristown. Honestly, since we're already in Morristown, I think they should be like Greenville and Johnson City, or Johnson City and Bristol. No need for Morristown. In our next mileage sign, we get Greenville is 17 miles away and Johnson City 45. Here I'm meeting Interstate 81 for the first time, and Interstate 81 is signed north for Bristol and south for Knoxville, which is alright. Here I'm meeting US 321 once again, and this time 321 and US 11E have a concurrency. Not like that last time. Here's US 321 splitting off from US 11E, and look at this stoplight here. This reminds me of Illinois. Here in the Johnson City area, we're meeting US 23 and US 19W, where 19W is actually going to be joining US 11E for a short concurrency. And we also meet Interstate 26, which for some reason Tennessee is again neglecting east to west highways. Why, Tennessee? You should fix that Interstate 26 sign. Here's 11E and 19W splitting off from Tennessee Highway 36 still in the Johnson City area. And our next mileage time, we get Bristol on the bottom line, which is 21 miles away, so that's a good choice. Here's US 19 reforming document itself for US 19 and 11E, which we're still signed for Bristol. Are we in Tennessee? Are we in Virginia? Are we in Tennessee? Or are we in Virginia? We were in Virginia City or Chattanooga. Also, this is Bristol at the Tennessee and Virginia state line. If you didn't get the reference, I recommend watching the Geico Bristol commercial. Now we're entering into the state of Virginia. We have 11E and US 19. Here's US 421 joining the party, and 11E, 19, and 421 are all going to pair with each other. Now we're reforming with US 11W to form US 11 and US 1119. They're going to be heading north of here to Interstate 81. Also at this intersection here is the beginning of Interstate 381. That's how we also get to Interstate 81 here. Now we're meeting US 58 and Interstate 81 just north of Bristol. And here's US 19 splitting off from US 11 to head towards Hansonville and Bluefield. Also, Quarter March is going to be doing a US 19 series, and the first video is actually going to be releasing very soon, so once that video drops, I recommend you check that out. Here's US 58 joining US 11, and we have a mention of Interstate 81 for Bristol. Here's US 11 splitting off from US Highway 58 East. Also, I'm going to be doing a video on US 58 soon. So here at this random junction with a secondary road, we have US 11 is signed north for Gross Close. Can I ask you one question? Do you know where Gross Close, Virginia is? Come on, I'll give you a second to answer. It's at this intersection right here. It's an unincorporated community that Virginia Dot is signing US 11 for. That should not be Gross Close. Gross Close is in this intersection. It should be Wytheville or Rural Retreat, the next town over. Those two towns are fine, not Gross Close. Why, Virginia? Why do you do this? But here in the Wytheville area, we're actually now joining US 21, head through downtown Wytheville. Here's a nice view of downtown Wytheville to calm me down from that gross close whatever nonsense. And now here's US 21 splitting off from US 11. And now we're actually joining the famous wrong way currency here, which is signed for Charlotte and Roanoke. Which is a good choice and a step up from gross close. Why, Virginia? Also, guess what US 52 is? The Hey I Know This Highway segment. US 52 is a 2,072-mile-long highway. It travels from Charleston, South Carolina, all the way up to Portal, North Dakota, at the North Dakota and Canada border. I made my own US 52 videos, and Control City Freak made his own US 52 videos to combine for one long US 52 saga, so I recommend going to check that out. Also, US 52 was the very first video that I ever introduced Hey I Know This Highway. That's cool. Some major intersections along US 52 include US 1, US 6, here US 11, US 62, US 301, US 401, Interstates 40, 65, 81, 85, 90, and 94. That's a little bit about US 52, and let's get back to the video. And here's the shields for the famous wrong way concurrency. Now we're heading north on 11 and 81 instead of south on 52 and 77. And here's US 52 splitting off from Interstate 77 and 81, which is signed south for Fort Chiswell and Max Meadows. Here's Interstate 77 splitting off from Interstate 81 and US 11. 77 is signed south for Charlotte, which is absolutely correct, and 81 is signed north for Roanoke. Here's US 11 splitting off from Interstate 81, and we're signed north for Pulaski, while Virginia Highway 100 is signed south for Hillsville. In the next mileage sign, we get Pulaski on the top line, which is 5 miles away, Dublin 13, and Radford, which is 22. Those are very close towns to each other. Why do you do that, Virginia? I thought you were very good at mileage signs. And here in the Appalachian Mountains, we're actually getting a very cool overlook here. Anyway, I skipped ahead to Christiansburg, where we're going to be joining with US 460, 460 East, and 11 North are going to be heading towards Blacksburg and Roanoke. Our next mileage time, we get Shawsville, which is 7 miles away, Elliston 10 miles, and Roanoke 27, which is good choices. Here in the Roanoke area, US 460 is splitting off from US 11 here at this junction in downtown Roanoke. And now remaining Interstate 581 and US 220, which I also did a video on. Now remaining US Highway 460 once again at the Sheets, and US 11 is now just signed north for Williamson Road. Why not Harrisonburg or Winchester? In our next mileage time, we get 11 north to Lexington, while here remaining US 60 in the Lexington area. And now remaining Interstate 64 in the Lexington area. In our next mileage time in the Lexington area, we now are getting Winchester on the bottom line, which is 125 miles away. Also, I think Staunton is where we meet US Highway 48. Here I mean US 340. And now we're meeting US 250 in the Staunton area. Here in the Harrisonburg area, we're meeting US Highway 33. And here is one of US 11's child routes, US 211, which is signed for Luray, while US 11 is for Winchester. Here we're meeting Virginia Highway 55, which actually takes you to US 48. We're jumping ahead to the Winchester area, and we're meeting Virginia Highway 37, which is sort of like a bypass route around the city of Winchester. And we're now getting for Roanoke and Martinsburg. Now we're meeting US 50 and US 17 and US 522 all in the Winchester area. And here's US 50 splitting off from US 11 and 522 because US 17 ended. And now here's US 522 splitting off from US 11 as US 11 is now heading towards Martinsburg. On our way to Martinsburg, we passed right by this Highway 55 restaurant. If you don't know what a Highway 55 restaurant, it's basically a restaurant that's like a 50 themes diner that was opened in the 90s. And they have really good burgers and shakes there. There's a whole bunch of them down here in North Carolina. I recommend you check one out if you live near a Highway 55. And now we're entering into the state of West Virginia. Here in the Martinsburg area, we're meeting West Virginia Highway 9 and 45. While 45 takes you to Interstate 81. Now we're meeting West Virginia Highway 9. And for only mileage sign in West Virginia, we get Falling Waters 6 miles away, and Williamsport, Maryland, which is 12 because it's a very short distance in West Virginia. Here we're crossing the Potomac River into Williamsport, Maryland. Now Williamsport, Maryland welcomes us, and this is the only Maryland welcome sign I could find along US 11 North. Now we're meeting Interstate 81 in the Williamsport area, and 81 is signed north for Harrisburg. If Maryland can sign Harrisburg, then so should Pennsylvania. Also, 81 is signed south for Roanoke, so we're actually skipping Martinsburg and heading down to Roanoke. Interesting, Maryland. Here in the Hagerstown area, now we're passing under Interstate 70. Sadly, we get no direct access to Interstate 70. If you want to get onto Interstate 70, you'd either have to take Interstate 81 or US Highway 40. Here in the Hagerstown area, I mean US 40, and 40 takes you to Interstate 70. Leaving the Hagerstown area, we're now entering into the state of Pennsylvania. Let's see what Pennsylvania has to offer us. Also, if you're a big fan of my videos, I recommend checking out the Xavier 456. He is currently doing a Shaming PennDOT series, and he actually done a video on US Highway 11. So if you want to check out that video, I recommend checking out here. And a cool thing about US 11 and Interstate 81 for the first 60 miles in Pennsylvania, we actually pass by through these 6 small towns that are no more, no less 10 miles apart from each other. Except that one town is not along the Interstate 81 US 11 corridor. As you can see here, I think it's Newville, Pennsylvania. I'm not exactly sure, but I just wanted to point out this cool feature. In Chambersburg, we're now meeting US Highway 30, which takes you to Gettysburg, which I've been to. Here I mean Interstate 76, or the Pennsylvania Turnpike, just south of Harrisburg and Carlisle. And now we're meeting Interstate 81, which is down south for Chambersburg. That should be Hagerstown or Roanoke. 81 gets a good control city for Harrisburg, which is good. And now we're meeting Pennsylvania 581, and we're going to be joining 581 for Camp Hill in Harrisburg. Well, 581 just gets nothing, or just to Interstate 81. Also, I've also been on Pennsylvania 581. Now we're joining US Highway 15, and 11 and 15 are to be heading north towards Camp Hill, while 15 is signed south for Gettysburg. Here on the other side of the Susquehanna River, you actually get a good view of downtown Harrisburg, which I actually want to visit one day. I've actually been to the city of Harrisburg itself, but I've never been to downtown Harrisburg, so I'd like to visit one day. Now we're meeting Interstate 81 once again, and 81 is signed north for Harrisburg, and 81 is signed south for Carlisle. Aren't we north of Harrisburg at this point? So that's confusing to me. Now, after leaving Interstate 81, we have another mileage sign. Duncannon is 9 miles away, Selinsgrove 45, and Williamsport 82. Williamsport is where US 15 is going, not US 11, so that's actually very good on Pennsylvania's part, signing another town that another highway is going instead of where the main highway is going. Now we're meeting US 22 and 322, which is signed east for Harrisburg and west for Lewiston. Again, actually, Quarter March 4 through 7 actually made a video on US 322, so I'd recommend if you go check that out. It's in the top right corner up here. Now we're meeting another child of US 22, US 522, and it's signed south for Selinsgrove and Shamokin Dam. I've actually also been on US 522, but it's not up in the Pennsylvania area, it's all the way down in Virginia. Now we're meeting the famous Sheets Circle, which takes you back to US 11 and US 15 and US 522 south, which is good for Harrisburg and Selinsgrove, while US 11-15 just continue north for Lewisburg and Danville. Now here's US 15 splitting off from US Highway 11 as US 15 and heads towards Lewisburg, while 11 gets Northumberland and Danville. Now we're crossing the Susquehanna River. They're paralleling it for who knows how long. And in the Northumberland area, we're meeting Pennsylvania Highway 405 and Quartermarch 437. I actually wanted to see this intersection because this actually takes you to a pizza place in Northumberland and his grandmother's house. But this is actually the newest version of this intersection. Guess what this old intersection was? It was US 11 and Pennsylvania Highway 147. I'm glad they changed this intersection to Pennsylvania 405. Here in the Danville area, we're now meeting Pennsylvania Highway 54. Now we're passing through some beautiful scenery here in the Appalachian Mountains. And now we're meeting Interstate 80, which gets the abysmal control cities of Hazleton and Milton. Why? I'm gonna fix this with magic. Boom! That's what Interstate 80 should be signed for. East for New York City and west for State College. Well, US 11 should be assigned north for Scranton from here. Or Wilkes-Barre. Here we're meeting passing under Interstate 476, and this time we actually do get a direct access to 476, but it's further up the road in the Scranton area. We're now actually in the Scranton area, and office fags rejoice. There is actually a Pennsylvania paper company in the city of Scranton itself. Looks like they're offering us that we can actually go inside and take pictures. I honestly want to go because I'm a fan of The Office, so this is actually a very cool place I want to visit one day. North of Scranton, we're now meeting the northeast extension of the Pennsylvania Turnpike on Interstate 476, which is signed south for Wilkes-Barre, while 81 is signed for Binghamton and US 6 East. US 6 West is me joining US 11 here. And now we're splitting off from US 6 to head north towards Binghamton and Nicholson. And shortly later, we're now entering our final state, New York. And our first major intersection here in New York is New York Highway 7. And here in the Binghamton area, we're actually going through downtown Binghamton. Sadly, we have no direct access to Interstate 86, but we're passing under it. And if you want to get to Interstate 86, you can take Interstate 81 here south to Interstate 86. Also, we get a mention of Interstate 88 here, so that's cool. Here I mean New York Highway 12, and I've got one question. Who invited Virginia and told a New York person to sign for Castle Creek? Again, Castle Creek is an unincorporated community. That should not be signed. That should be, I don't know, Ithaca or Syracuse. Here I mean New York Highway 13, and it's signed for Cortland and Ithaca. And now we get some beautiful scenery along Interstate 81, because we're paralleling Interstate 81 here. Here I mean US Highway 20, just south of Syracuse. Here in the Syracuse area, we're meeting the second longest state highway, New York Highway 5. And here still in the Syracuse area, sadly we have no direct access to Interstate 90. If you want to get to Interstate 90, you either have to take Interstate 481 or Interstate 81, sadly. And in the Syracuse area, we actually get an air shield for New York Highway 11 instead of US 11. Why? Here we mean New York Highway 13 once again, way north of Syracuse and Binghamton. And now we're meeting Interstate 81 for, I believe, the last time here, because Interstate 81 is going to be veering towards the west, while US 11 is going to be heading north to Canada. and smaller upstate New York towns. Now remaining New York Highway 12 and New York 3, which takes us to Interstate 81. And here in the Watertown area, remaining New York Highway 37, which I actually did a video on. So if you want to check that out, it's in the top right corner up here. Here remaining Interstate 781 in the Watertown area, while North US 11 is just signed north for Governor and Canton. Again? Another Philadelphia? How many Philadelphias does US 11 pass through? Now remaining New York Highway 58 and 812 in one of these upstate New York towns are now signed for Ogdensburg, which is a city for New York Highway 37. Here's New York Highway 812 splitting off from US 11. US 11 gets north for Canton, while Ogdensburg is for 812. Here's the northern terminus in New York Highway 37, another upstate New York town, remaining New York Highway 374, which is a shortcut to the Canada border here. And I remain Interstate 87 all the way up here in upstate New York, and Sunday we get no control cities for Interstate 87, except for 2 Canada Highway 15. And I remain US Highway 9, and shortly after that remain US Highway, or the eastern segment of US Highway 2, which takes you to Interstate 89 in Vermont. And shortly after that we enter into the Canada border. Which, actually, the weird thing about this Canada border here, we actually can drive through customs, but I don't want to because I am not covering Canada right now. If I was to cover a highway in Canada, then I'll do that some other time. So we end US Highway 11 and move on to all the places I'll go. So these are all the places that I visit on US 11 and 11E if I was ever on the highway myself. So these are all the places that I visit. First I visit the town of Slidell, then the city of Hattiesburg, then the town of Laurel, then the town of Meridian. Then I actually want to visit the city of Tuscaloosa, not because of the University of Alabama, because Tuscaloosa looks like a cool place to visit. And I actually visited the city of Birmingham, because I actually lived close to Birmingham for 8 years of my life. And then the city of Chattanooga, because I've actually been there again. And then the city of Knoxville, and then Johnson City, the city of Bristol, so I can do that. Bristol, Tennessee, Bristol, Virginia, cool little thing. And then the town of Wytheville, and then the Draper Valley Overlook, which was that overlook in the Appalachian Mountains in Virginia. And then the town of Christiansburg, and the city of Roanoke, the town of Staunton, then the town of Harrisonburg, the city of Winchester, the Highway 55 restaurant in Winchester, the town of Martinsburg, West Virginia, the city of Hagerstown, all the 6 towns along the 10-mile stretch of US 11 in Pennsylvania. We visit the city of Harrisburg and actually visit downtown Harrisburg. The town of Northumberland and that Amato's Pizza at Northumberland. The city of Scranton, that Pennsylvania Paper Company. The city of Binghamton, the city of New York, and all those small upstate New York towns. So that ends US Highway 11. Thank you all so much for watching this episode of US Highway 11. This video was a lot of fun to make, and I learned a lot about a highway that I've only been on for a little tiny bit. My next couple weeks will be the Baltimore and Washington Parkway next week, and then I'll be going to US 11 southbound on US 11W, and then after that I'm actually going to be doing Tennessee Highway 338. So if you have any extra requests for those, please make sure to put them down in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.